PISA acknowledges the merits of the academic calendar. Why? Because there's an ASEAN integration and there is an ease of mobility of intellectual services. Although, the real question here is if the Philippines ready for the academic calendar shift now? Actually, in the 1960s, the academic calendar shift has already been proposed and implemented. According to a professor from BA, there was utter chaos because there was a distraction from the natural order of things in the Philippines. 1, holidays. 2, weather. 3, scheduled licensure exams. And it did not work for the Philippines already. But now the bigger issue is the education sector. Are you really ready to be internationally competitive right now? Right now, the education in the Philippines has not yet reached its fullest potential. Therefore, the academic shift is not the first step to increase the quality of education that we have right now. Second, there was no student consultation. The decision was made before the consultation happened. And in whatever decision that UP, and UP is not only stakeholders here, this is the entire education sector, meaning other state universities and other colleges, and not a lot of schools are members of the AUM. Now, because of this, because of no consultation, no decision should have been made, because the real stakeholders here are the students and not the administration. Therefore, the academic calendar shift cannot be made right now. Thank you.
So, tayo sa Allianza, actually, we also see the merits of the academic calendar shift, but we provide a different perspective. Actually, yung perspective ng Allianza is more practical, no, for the students. Bakit? Alam naman natin na napakaraming estudyante dito sa UP, yung gustong maka-avail ng tinatawag natin foreign exchange programs, no? However, yung problema, para magawa ito, since hindi synchronize yung calendar natin with other countries, kailangan pa nila mag-file ng LOA, no, leave of absence, at ma-delay doon sa kanilang undergraduate course. So, sayang, di ba? Sayang yung opportunity na matuto sila sa ibang bansa. However, yung problema natin dito sa shift na ito din nga, dahil na walang consultation, hindi natin nakikita na nagiging smooth yung transition to yung calendar. Yung counselor natin, halimbawa, si Paula Lamarca from the College of Law, isang problema nila, pag ginawa natin yung August ito, 2 months na lamang, no, yung preparation nila for the bar examinations. So, gusto natin, sana maayos muna itong mga logistical problems na to bago natin i-implement. But at the end of the day, we recognize na dapat hindi natin hinihinder yung opportunities para sa mga kapwa natin scholar. Because at the end of the day, hindi natin dapat sinasara yung pinto, no? Hindi natin dapat sinasara yung pinto doon sa mga kapwa natin estudyante kung gusto nilang matutaw ng iba't ibang pang mga bagay mula sa ibang bansa. Maraming salamat.
First of all, let us not equate internationalization with the academic calendar shift. And let us not reduce the problems to logistical issues and to the lack of consultation. We stand UP against po tayo sa academic calendar shift dahil ito, though nagpo-provide po siya ng easier mobility, itanong po muna natin, easier mobility for whom? Kung tutusin with the situation ng ating education sector sa ngayon, hindi po natin kakayanin makipagsabayan sa mga top-notch students na may pupunto sa ating mga neighboring countries. Kung sabay-sabay tayo nag-graduate, imagine natin, buong group na to, sabay-sabay tayo nag-graduate, sasabayan pa tayo ng ibang mga bansa, tayo yung magsisettle sa low-paying jobs. Sa ngayon, 2.5% lamang ng ating GDP ang napupunta sa education sector. Yung mga hinahabol nating bansa, umaabot ng 6.1%. As Professor De Dios of School Economics said, we don't internationalize when we become good. We become good first, then internationalize. Kalakit na rin po ito yung ating mga problema. Kalakit na rin po ito yung ating mga problema. Katulad sa ating mga edu students, sa ating mga estudyante na nag-fieldwork, sa ating mga law students, nandiyan din po yung problema ng weather, tropical effects. Actually, 10 seconds. Now, we are against the academic calendar shift. Thank you.
Just to set the record straight, we are against public-private partnerships in the legalization of UP land. we are against the UP Tech Hub and the UP Town Center. But of course, we are not against the utilization of idle assets per se, but there are certain criteria to follow, and these are the following. Number one, there should be an academic use to these idle assets. Number two, this should not be used as a substitute for state subsidy. Number three, all the sectors that will be affected should be consulted. Number four, the use of the idle asset must be environmentally sound. And number five, all transactions must be transparent to the stakeholders of the university. As you can see in the UP Tech Hub and UP Town Center, the academic criteria is not met because ano ba naman yung academic doon sa UP Tech Hub at UP Town Center? In addition to that, no consultation was done into the affected sectors of the university. And finally, we do not know of the transactions that transpired here in UP Tech Hub and UP Town Center. So we see these partnerships as very contentious. Thank you.
Now we move on to Mr. JP Villasneves from Alianza.
Gusto ko naman kanina, nakakalungkot na ginagamit natin dahilan itong privatization of land natin para mawasan yung budget natin. Malinaw sa ating UP Charter na hindi dapat gamitin pang replace ng ating budget kung ano man yung kikitain dito. Kaya tayo sa Alianza, hindi natin nakikita na ito yung dapat nangyayari. Pero sa katanungan, what do you think should be done? Ano pa yung magagawa natin bilang mga scholar ng bayan? Nakatayo na itong mga building na ito. Oo, tingnan natin na lumabag sila sa mga safeguards na nilagay natin. Pero habang ngayon nakatayo ito, tayo ng scholar ng bayan ay dapat mas maging vigilant pa. Dapat tingnan natin kung yung pera ba na nagagaling dito ay nagagamit sa tamang lagayan. Nagagamit kung saan dapat tamang paggamitan. Kaya tayo sa Alianza, kung ano yung kumpleto, tulad sa sabi natin na tayo puro pangakot, puro salita. Yung kumpletong ginawa natin, tuloy-tuloy na tayo sa pagpasa ng ating Freedom of Information Bill para makita natin kung saan nga ba nagpupunta yung budget na ito. Kung saan nagpupunta yung kinikitang ito. At dito dapat tayo patuloy ang sasabi natin na privatization of land asset natin. Dapat tuloy-tuloy na maging vigilant natin para malaman natin kung saan nga ba nagagamit itong perang ito. Dahil ating ang pag-aaral ito, ito ay para sa UP at para sa bayan. Salamat.
Certification ng ating mga idle assets. Noong year 2004, ay meron akong mga grupo na actually pumayag ako sa pag-utilize ng ating assets dito. Actually, ang question dito, bakit nga ba idle? Idle assets yung tawag dito. Idle po sila. Hindi sila ginagamit. Ano ba? Sinasadya hindi sila ginagamit para ipagamit sa mga private corporations. At ito po yung ating tinututulan na ito ay manifestation. No commercialization at education. Dahil dito, ang kumikita po ay itong mga private sectors at hindi napapakinabangan ng mga estudyante. Yung mga lands na pwede naman sanang gamitin for academic purposes. Kaya po, ever since na dinatag yung study na tinututulan na niya yung public-private partnership at nananatili yung kanyang kampanya against commercialization of education at hanggang sa ngayon, sa lahat po ng mga laban na pinapanindigan ng San UP, na ayaw natin ng any form of privatization sa loob ng pamantasan. What should be done with the matters regarding the privatization? Siyempre, ito po yung panawagan naman ng San UP na lahat ng mga eskola ng bayan, tutulan na po natin ito. Diba? Lahat po tayo nanawagan na huwag na po yung pangalan sa kung sino-sino mga businessmen, yung ating mga classroom at mga halls dito. Maraming salamat.
Kung titingnan natin sa konteksto ng pag-rename ng CBA to Creative School of Business, hindi nagkaroon ng consultation mula sa mga estudyante, ng proper student consultation. Pangalawa, kung titingnan natin, sino nga ba si Senator J.A. Garata? Siya isa naging finance officer at Prime Minister ni Marcos. At kung tatandaan natin, sino nga ba si Marcos sa history natin? Marami siyang nagabyado na mga mamamayan ng Pilipinas noon. Kung parang sagutin naman yung tanong na anong magagawa natin para mas mapakinggan yung mga estudyante sa paggawa ng desisyon sa pamasasan. Student consultation at meeting sa mismong administration ng Universidad ng Pilipinas. Yun ang hindi nagagawa ngayon ng administration. Kaya nagkakaroon na rin roaming ng mga proyekto ng pagpapatupad ng mga proyekto at polisiya dito sa pamasasan. Connection between the student council, the students, and the UP administration. Yun lang ang
For me, I really believe what the students and student council did. What was the students was the best thing that they could do. Kasi the students was the center or a stakeholder of the school. And this is what we should do as student leaders. We should always listen to what our students have to say. Dapat ang mga decision natin kapag nandun na tayo sa student council, hindi natin personal na decision. Kasi yung chance natin na nandun tayo sa position, hindi lang kaya yung may gawa nun. May gawa nun yung mga estudyante, mga constituents natin. And so as much as possible, we should listen to our constituents. And the best thing about being independent is you get to think for yourself. You get to think because of your principles, not because of your party, not because of your affiliation. Maraming salamat po.
Very simple like status issue. But first, I'll give you the proper context. In the DSP change, there are two issues there: the moral and the legal. Moral, the fact that we're naming someone after college after what we call a Marcos Lackey or Marcos Second. And that's really weird for naming college after that. The legal part, there's a law that we cannot name a college after a living person or any other public institution. So first, as a future member of the USC, what I intend to do is, let's have a signature campaign. Let's make it clear that it's not only a CBA problem, it is a UP problem. Let's unite all the students in a call that this is a problem that everyone has to address. I want to ask you guys, if you were from a college that you were not, whose name you were not proud of, how would you feel? I think it's a UP problem, not just a CBA problem. I intend to unite the students. Thank you.
I'm the current counselor of the Business Administration Council. So what we did actually, when we found out that our college has been renamed to the Graduate School of Business, what we did was we did a self-consultation. We actually engaged the administration of UP of our college with regards to what we need to serve behind the name of the college of the Graduate School of Business. What we did, again, was we did that specifically correct survey regarding, what the student body wanted our names to be. With that, we also engaged the student leaders for them to for the student leaders to really propose to the DOR the fact that we did not want the name we did not want the name Tetragram attached to the college. What we're going to do once we are students at the USC is basically do what we did in the local council, the business administration council, which is really engage everyone involved, engage all the parties involved, and then make a stand on that, and then do concrete action, do proposals, do very informed and exhaustive stand. And what we're going to do, actually we're all inviting you to join us in a stand. It's called China Stand. And we're going to be mobilizing on July 27 in the DOR so that we can get our name back.
Maganda po na narinig natin na nagkakaisa-tayo yung statement ko. Pero gusto ko lang pong linawin na bago pa humingi itong issue na ito, ang Stand UP ay nagpasa na ng kanyang position paper doon sa ating student region dahil sa tatlong punto. Una, ito ay mag-startization ng history. Kung saan nakikita natin ang UP ang lumaban doon sa historia, kung saan ito related sa Cesar Vilata. Pangalawa, walang consultation na naganap bago pinatupad itong polisiya na ito. At bilang malalim na pagsusuri higit sa issue na ito, ito ay nakikita natin bilang panibagong forma ng komersyalisasyon. Isang mahal-mahalyang pag-donate ng 40 million pesos para palitan sa pangalan ng BPA sa USC. Sa puntong ito, makikita natin kung sino ang mga student leader na unang naging kritikal sa issue. At unang-una, nagpasa ng position paper at hindi lang naman nagsalita at magbigay ng stand kung kailan umiin na itong issue na ito. Maraming salamat.